Hey everyone, welcome back to AsArt with Nick and John. Post 3 videos a week, so go ahead and click subscribe and check asart.space for the audio and video links. So Nick, I saw this episode of His Dark Materials just a little bit before you saw it. This is maybe my favorite episode of the season so far. So Nick was saying he saw the previews like, oh, I wonder if this is going to be like the book. So I don't know yet, so I'm going to be excited. So you want to recap the episode for us?
Okay, so Lyra and Will, they have to get the alethiometer back.
Mm-hmm.
So, Will's kind of developing his skill or his
Mm-hmm.
power this episode, like getting really good at it. And they plan to go at night. But the best part about the whole episode is the Mrs. Coulter stuff. I feel like we
Yes.
get so much backstory and just
Mm-hmm.
she goes to the scientist, she has the discussion, and she's like, in this world I would have been so powerful. What are you doing here? Blah blah blah. And then finally, we get the action scene at the end when they try to get the alethiometer back.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, some craziness going on here.
Yeah.
So, do you want to hear book stuff first, or do you want to just recap the
Well,
episode
so one
first?
thing I wanted to ask is in the book, so he seems like he got his powers under control pretty quick. So I was curious if there's supposed to be a pretty good passage of time here, or is this immediately after he got the dagger? Because he mastered it pretty
Yeah,
quick.
the timing's pretty similar.
Okay, so he just got
It,
it really
it,
quick. Okay.
yeah, but I guess in the book, he really like uses it to its full extent.
Hmm.
Like
How
he'll
so?
like open it and just like put his hand through to grab stuff, and
Oh,
like he would
interesting.
like and he'll like roll out where they like there's a great sequence in the books when they're trying to get it back,
Hmm.
and because Mrs. Coulter's the Mrs. Coulter's everything you see in this episode does not happen in the book. Like she
Really?
does not talk to the scientist. She does not even see Lyra. She doesn't even
Hmm.
talk to Lyra. She doesn't even see Will. I mean, the closest we get is the monkey reaching its hand through the hole in the worlds, trying to get the alethiometer
Oh
back, kind of thing.
wow.
That's like the closest we get because Will's like really good at this thing, and he
Uh-huh.
he like he like cuts a hole behind the couch and he like hops behind the curtains,
Uh-huh.
and then Lyra's in the other world like talking to him, and she's like looking
Oh
through
wow.
the hole, and she's like, oh no, it's my mom, and then she's like, "Oh no, what are we gonna do to get him out?" So Lyra goes through the other worlds to this other hole they cut in a bush, and then she throws a rock, and it's like this whole thing that goes on, and
Interesting.
they run outside. Then he grabs it, they pop through, and they're safe. Or
So
they totally completely change it, and Mrs.
interesting.
Coulter. Dude, Mrs. Coulter's so like I want to say super strong on like how far she can separate herself from her
Uh-huh.
demon. She literally left her demon like in a room when she like drove in a car because she got keys.
Yeah.
I don't know where she learned to
I know. I
drive a
was
car.
wondering that too. That's
Anyway.
the first thing. So another thing I want to. Sorry, guys, I'm asking a lot of questions, but hopefully, if you haven't read the books and you're wanting to get the between the lines that we don't get in the show, you'll be able to answer this. Um, so she says, something along the lines to the guy. She goes, so haven't you ever met a woman who can't control herself before? So is that something that we're going to get as far as the demon backstory later on in the books or in the show, or is this something I should have picked up, or is that completely left to
Well,
interpretation?
kind of the conversations they're having was supposed to happen on later in the book,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't want to spoil it
Yeah,
because
so
I don't know what the next
we can leave
episode's
this
going to
for a later
be. Yeah.
time. Yeah. Okay.
But basically he's in love with her.
Yeah, I mean
Right,
that was
we got that
clear.
from this
Yeah.
episode. He's like playing the love music. He's like, "Come
Yeah.
on,"
I
and
felt
she's just
bad
like,
for him. He's like totally
"Can you turn this
trying
off?"
so hard. I'm like, I'm sorry, dude. I don't think it's gonna work out, man. But so her being able to separate herself from her demon is gonna come be explained later on. At least in the book, it would have been
Well,
explained.
not in this book. Maybe in the third book. I
Okay,
don't know. I
which you haven't
remember
read
I
yet.
only read book one
Yeah.
and two. I'm trying to go
Okay.
with the show.
Okay.
Kyle,
Cool.
our expert, who's not here, we can ask him tomorrow or
Yeah. Next
next
episode.
time. He'll be
Yeah,
on
we'll ask
with
him
us
that.
next time, so we'll ask him that next
Because
time.
you know
But
what, I do like when shows don't, or a book for that matter, don't explain everything. Like, did we need to know Anakin had a high midichlorian count? Like, no, leaving that up to.
oh, I mean no.
I mean, so if they don't explain why she can part from her demon or why her demon doesn't talk, that might actually be cool. Like, I actually might like wondering about that. But if it was in the book,
I
well,
think they explained it though. It's just
oh, did
like
they?
control over like the dust. It's
Okay.
like it's like her like being strong to like torture or pain.
Uh huh.
Because like remember when she had that conversation with Lee and they were talking about pain and
Uh
like, oh, it
huh.
looks like you were beat
Yeah. Uh
or
huh.
or pain and stuff.
Yeah.
So it looks like it's like she's like it's like a tolerance thing.
Okay.
Like she's able to tolerate so much pain for such a long time.
Oh,
Where it seems
interesting.
like the witches, it's like a ritual they go through, and it's like natural, and it's like whoa, it's like a nice thing that they can part
Mm-hmm.
separate. But this feels like she's torturing herself. And my favorite clip of the whole episode was when there's like a moment where she leans to go to the monkey.
Yeah.
Remember, she like has all this pain, and she like, oh my gosh, it was like, oh, that poor like monkey,
Yeah.
her soul just wants to love her, and
Yeah.
it's so crazy, it's
It
so
was
good.
really good. I mean, her demon doesn't say anything, and yet you got a really good acting
Yeah,
performance out of this. Basically, what was a puppet, on strings on stage. So it was really cool. I liked it a lot, and they added. It sounds like versus the books, they added this whole thing about her to add her backstory and character development. And man, wonderfully done. Her acting was wonderful. You saw her go
yeah,
in
I
between
like
her
I like
pain.
the backstory stuff
She
a
did a
lot.
really good job. And the other person that I think is my favorite character in this whole series so far, which people are probably going to think is surprising, is the scientist in the regular our world.
Oh,
I
cool,
really
yeah.
like her. Like,
Oh, that's another huge book change
oh,
that
interesting.
I don't know if I like.
Hmm.
So in the books, she hears the voices all at the same time. They
Hmm.
separate it into two parts
Hmm.
where she ends up coming back. So originally she sneaks in at night because
Hmm.
she lost her credentials because she said no to the funding,
Oh,
and then she sneaks in at night, and then she puts in the code, and then she talks to the lithiometer. That's when they find
mm,
out dust is angels and angels is dark matter and like all the stuff we learn. And then
mm,
he says you have to play the serpent. That's like a thing in the book, because in the book the computer or the dust particles or dark matter beings, whatever you want to call them, are
beans,
angels.
beans. Did you say beans?
Freaking beans. Um, so basically, they tell her to destroy the machine,
Oh, interesting.
so
Okay.
no one else could use it. And
Oh,
in my mind, like that's huge because like that's her baby, that's her creation.
yeah,
All the funding, like it shows how much faith she has to destroy
yeah.
it herself.
Now
Like,
it.
I mean, like it takes so much more, like, character develop, not
Uh,
character development, but like willpower to
yeah.
destroy your life's work on a whim to trust this
Mm,
magical being. And I mean, and then she's all like biblical, she's not biblical anymore, she
yeah.
was a nun, so she's
Yeah, I
like,
thought that was cool. That
like
was a little backstory that we hadn't gotten about. Are you going to go back to the convent? And she's like, no. And then so she can hear the voices without being at the machine now, or
so
or
in the books it's all text. So she like types it's like Neo in, like, remember when he's
yeah,
like,
yeah.
type and the
And
answers
all of
come
a
from
sudden, the
Morpheus.
scientist looks up. I know jujitsu.
So basically, like she would like type a question, and I think it actually prints out on paper,
But
because
so when
this
she was at
because
the
everything fits on a floppy disk in the book.
yes,
Everything's like on, like it's like a
yes,
floppy
high
disk
high
insert.
technology at the time. But so for her, when she was talking to the voices at the computer, was she listening through the computer, or can she just hear them now away from the computer? Like, was there speakers set up at the computer, or could she just
I
hear them in
guess
her
it's
head?
like I'm guessing it's
Because before she
speakers.
was plugged in, right? She had the sensors on her and stuff. So I was a
Yeah,
little bit confused on that. You guys can comment
I'm
on that
guessing
too.
it's like a speakers through it's through the
Okay,
computer,
okay,
because
all right, cool.
that's why they were like, we won't talk to you in this
In
world
this world,
again,
okay.
or this device or
Mhm.
whatever. And they also guarantee her protection
Yeah,
through with the speakers.
yeah.
So maybe angels are watching over after all.
Ooh. But yeah, I really like her character. I think the fun little section where her sister comes over, it's just really good character. I thought Mrs. Coulter, right? Mrs. Coulter, her mom, Lyra's
This is
mom.
the
I thought that was awesome. What they added that wasn't in the book,
fantastic
I thought that,
acting from the
yeah,
daughter.
yeah,
Uh,
that was really good. So when Lyra's demon was hurting her demon, her mom just stood up anyway. Was that her just going through the
uh,
pain? I thought that was pretty cool. And
so
Lyra's like
badass.
freaking out. She's like, oh, it's like, that's right, you little jerk. Look what
But
you did,
man,
you
I was
little
so
jerk.
pissed at Will. Yeah, like he has a knife that can do damage. Like I know he doesn't want to hurt anyone, but like they're trying to kill them. Like,
Yeah.
I got this point. It's like, come on, dude.
And
Like,
he boxed
I
up the
mean,
kid. He didn't box up this guy at
I
all.
you could have sliced his finger off. There was a time where his arm was like against his neck or whatever. It's like, dude, just
He
quick
the
little stabs
same
to the gut.
move was used on him that Lyra used on him on the table when he went up to her the first time. I'm like, dude, you need to learn a counter or something. So I
But
remember
but
Kyle.
just so
Go
you
ahead.
know, the scientist storyline,
Hmm.
that's where it ends in the books in books two.
Oh wow.
She
Okay.
walks through the world, and she doesn't use Mrs. Coulter's name to get through, but
Mm.
it's very similar. She there's a whole cool thing where she's like, okay, I might have to survive in the wild if this doesn't pan out. So
Hmm.
she like packs her camping gear and all that, and then she actually fakes her ID by cutting it and putting on her partner's ID,
Oh,
so
okay.
she's able to
Okay.
get like she really plans this thing out where
Here it
it
just
just
seemed like
I
she was winging it. Yeah.
yeah, it just felt like luck.
Yeah.
And like the way they got the lithiometer back kind of just felt like luck.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean? Where like in the books it seemed like it was so planned and it showed like Will's like skill and knowledge of using the knife like smartly to not get like busted. And
Yeah,
it's just
it seemed almost from what you're describing. It seems like almost like it's a little mini heist movie section, almost. Yeah, right. I mean, a little bit like, but whereas
yeah,
here it's like I'm just gonna go through. Oh shoot, I got busted. You know,
yeah.
but you know what? For the purposes of story, he had interactions with her. Then Lyra had interactions with her, and I think that does make for much stronger characters. So even though it's changes, I'd be curious if you guys have read the books that are watching this right now. I'm curious if you like those changes because it sounds like Nick liked some of the changes, didn't like some of them at
I
all.
mean, I really like the Mrs. Culture
Hmm.
changes because I think it really adds to her character. Like
Yeah, a
her
lot. Yeah.
story has changed the most with the second book. Like she doesn't torture the witch. She doesn't even talk to Lee Scorbies when
Mhm.
he's tortured or beat up and stuff. So like they're adding a lot of character to her book, which is good
She's
because
an
she's like a
important
main
character.
character. She's
Yeah.
a good actress.
Yeah.
Like we want more of her on screen,
Yeah.
kind of thing. I mean, the more of her, it's not going to bum me out at all.
Yeah.
So
Cool. Very good. So, other things in the episode that you just overall liked, or so it does bother me a little bit that well, you know what? If Will was chosen by the dagger, whatever they call it, I guess it makes sense that he would learn that so quick. I feel like we're going into Star
well,
Wars
I
overpowered territory again with Ray, but I don't know.
well I don't know. I mean, you got to kind of view it almost like luck or like Frodo with the ring or like or sparing Smeagol, like
Mm-hmm.
what I mean. It's like random chance or a fool's hope. I think that's what they say
Lord of the
in
Rings. Yeah.
Lord of the Rings. Like it was never really much hope, just a fool's
A
hope.
fool's,
What I mean? It's
fool's
just
hope.
like, and I feel like like those random. Like the least people you least expect that will get the knife gets the knife, or
Mm-hmm.
even
Mm-hmm.
Lyra, how she gets the reader and
Yeah.
stuff. But then maybe we'll find out more with who their parents are
Mm-hmm.
and the lineage and all that stuff. Why it's them who are chosen,
Well, I mean,
kind of
they
thing.
made a strong hint at that with Mrs. Coulter's extended air. She's like, yeah, I was an important person. The only reason I am not more recognized is because I either had to do this or this. I'm like, oh, that was
Yeah,
that was cool information. And again, I can't praise that actress enough. Like she went through
fantastic.
seeming vulnerable, seeming super cold and hard like she usually is, and then just being completely hurt when Lyra's
Yeah,
completely rejecting her too. I'm like, dude, she went through the gamut of emotions in this episode, and
she did.
yeah, it was really really cool. Yeah, so it's cool stuff. But so I did watch the.
Did you watch the
I
trailer?
did. I remember.
Woo!
So
Good
I
job.
know. So what do we have coming up next episode? I
Lee
forget. That's
Scoresby's
right.
coming
That's
on
right.
his
Yeah.
balloon.
And Will kind of gets. It looks like he gets beat up or something, which looks like he's on the
So,
ground with the witches. I think. And don't spoil anything. I will skin your.
well, that has nothing. That has to do with his cut.
Oh, okay.
They're like trying to stop his bleeding from his
Oh,
cut,
okay. Okay.
basically. So that's not like a major like
Uh
spoiler
huh.
thing, but we did see the kids rushing them, which is going to be a
Yes.
huge part in the book. That's such a cool scene in the book. I wonder how they're going to play it off here.
I thought it was funny
But
because the girl, I can't see her not as the little girl from Game of Thrones. She's like, "We're gonna get you." I'm like, "Oh,
Mormont.
two 10-year-old girls. Oh no, I'm really scared." But then again, with how beat up Will gets, maybe we should be concerned.
Yeah. So
Lyra's
yeah,
the mini Logan, so she's gonna just
yeah,
Wolverine them. You know, it's like, "Oh really?"
yeah.
She'll start speaking Spanish and you know.
Uh-huh. So in the book, those kids carry around guns.
Okay, that would have made it a little bit more intimidating. That would have been a little bit better. Yeah,
They have like full on like pistols and stuff.
that'd
So
have been a lot more
I would be a
intimidating.
little freaked out of
Yeah, yeah.
kids with pistols
Kids with
too.
guns, yeah. I've had friends that have been down in Brazil and they literally got carjacked at gunpoint
Oh,
by young kids. I mean, it's a whole organized thing that the older people get the kids to do it. But anyway, that's a whole other story. But yeah, that would have been a
yeah.
little bit more intimidating if they had guns and stuff. Because right now it's just that they're two young girls. I'm like, okay, I guess. I mean, they're youngish kids as well. But yeah, anyway. So that's cool
There's
stuff.
two big story points that they have to hit, and there's two episodes
Episodes left,
left.
yeah.
I think they're gonna finish up where the book finishes too. So, which is like a crazy sad ending to book two. I
Oh,
There's like two moments that are incredibly sad. So I'm curious if they're gonna change anything or if they're gonna keep it. But there's two incredibly sad moments coming up, everyone.
cool. Well, you know what? I like it when it's not just
When it's
happy-go-lucky
sad.
stuff all the time. I mean, you have to have some turmoil and repercussions in order for things to have weight. We were just laughing about in another episode, Kevin the Mandalorian, how stormtroopers there's never any, and we were talking about reasons why. It's like you have to have the stakes high and things like that. So that
And it
was
works. Like, think about Lyra's backstory. Like, her mom's pretty messed up. She got totally betrayed by her dad
mm,
when she killed her best friend, or when he killed her best
yeah.
friend to open up the
Mm.
portal. I mean, she's already been through some turmoil and issues and stuff. So,
And I'll be excited to see where, because I mean, they're clearly, and again, in the mom's conversations in this episode, she's kind of hinting back to what did you hear about our relationship? What did you think happened? They're like, oh, I was just this, she was like, I was just this widowed, innocent, seduced woman, but she's clearly hinting that there's other things going on. So getting more of an explanation on what happened with
yeah.
them seems like it'd be a really cool story. So
They haven't mentioned that yet, right?
I don't think so. You mean what
Okay, so
actually happened with
that's
them?
definitely
Yeah.
a book thing then in my head. I'm like, I know what happens. Hold on.
Do not say a thing. Yeah, but
I know. That's why I was like double and
yeah, thank you
triple
for.
checking.
So anyway, you guys, I feel like by far this was my favorite episode. I really liked the last
Yeah.
episode, but I really liked this one. I'm really excited to see where the last two episodes go. And I mean, compared to other shows, except for other HBO Max shows, this is just leaps and bounds ahead of everything else. Nick, would you agree with that too, or is there other stuff we've been watching where you feel is like up there as well?
Like Game of Thrones?
Well, that's also HBO Max. So yeah,
Oh,
I
yeah,
get the
yeah,
same
yeah.
feeling of strong story progression in this as I do Game of Thrones. But I feel like this is overall going to
Yeah.
be maybe even stronger because this is 3 seasons. They're doing a book a season, whereas Game of Thrones just kind of kept going on for a lot longer, which I love. But this is going to be a much more concise, like strong experience as it lasts. I'm going to be sad the
By
next
the
season is
way,
going to be the last one though.
yeah, but I think we're also getting the prequel Game of Thrones season next year too.
Hmm.
Or the next season's the last one, but we're also getting Game of Thrones right after, so it'll be like a good tie over.
Cool.
And there's more than the three books.
Oh, there is for
Yes, but
this.
it's just the three books for the story, and then afterwards, I don't want to say anything,
Yeah.
but it's
Is
what
it
Kyle
is it
tells
a
me through spoilers.
continuation or is it a prequel or is it a
It's a continuation.
all right, guys, so we're going to be continuing the last two episodes of the season. Really looking forward to this. This has been really fun stuff. Let us know if you've been watching other stuff that you've been liking as much or more because we're always looking for new shows. Even if we don't cover it, we just love watching this stuff anyway. So check out AsArt.space for the audio and video links. Check out all the other content we have on here. We have deepfakes, we have reviews, we have visual effects breakdowns, a lot of different stuff. So go and check the stuff out, and we'll see you on the next AsArt.